Seek your blessings, Prabhu. Speak properly. Thank you. So we can see every verse of Srimad Bhagavatam has so much meaning. Even here, this seemingly is a very simple verse where uh, we understand from the previous classes that Parikshit Maharaj has insulted the sage Shamik, who was in his meditation, and he did not notice the arrival of the king Parikshit into his hermitage. Although the king was thirsty and hungry, the sage Shamik, he did not even get up to offer kind words, what to speak of offering a seat and some water, which is considered a minimum etiquette in the Vedic culture. And because of that, Parikshit Maharaj, he put a dead snake around the neck of Shamik Rishi. It is said that um, if you don't offer a warm reception, it is called a cold reception. They don't even appreciate your arrival. So because Shamik Rishi offered a cold reception to Maharaj Parikshit, so he picked up a dead snake, and dead snake is considered to be cold. As soon as the soul leaves the body, there is no temperature. The body becomes cold. So he put the dead snake around the neck of Shamik Rishi because you gave me a cold reception. That's your gift, and this is my return gift to you. So this is done out of envy and hatred. Of course, Maharaj Parikshit was a pure devotee. It was uncharacteristic of him to behave in that way. But because Krishna had a bigger plan, so that's why this happened. So here we see that the son of Shamik Rishi, his name is Shringi. He's very young, he's of tender age, he's playing with the other children. He comes to hear, he hears this news and he becomes angry. We'll see that he speaks a curse in the later verses. So um, we can understand the importance of news. In today's time, we see so many news. There are so many fake news. We can't trust on any information that we receive. But in those days, if somebody is giving you news, it has so much value. It has so much authority because people would not just say lie. There was potency in somebody's words. If somebody is speaking, it has to be truth. Your word is your bond. So this son of the Brahmana, he did not even try to understand whether this actually happened or not. He did not go back to his hermitage. He just accepted it as truth. So in one way, that's the glory of of the previous ages before Kali Yuga, that the words that people spoke, it was full of honesty and integrity. So simply by hearing Shrutva Tatredam Apravit, simply by hearing, he believed it, and then he will utter a curse. So that's the potency of just hearing authorized information. So if we hear something from Krishna and we trust it like this Shringi trusted those words, how much more progress we can make. Krishna says at the end of Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Paritejya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshishyami Ma Shucha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I will protect you from all kind of sinful reactions. Do not fear. Do not worry. So we hear this verse again and again and again and again in so many classes. But how much faith do I have in these words of Krishna? So even the Supreme Personality of Godhead has spoken this. How much I have accepted it in my life, how much I have transformed my life accordingly. So if we hear from an authorized source, then we can put firm faith in it. If there was somebody else who is not a person of character, if he comes and say, okay, you give everything to me, you surrender it to me, and I will take care of all your affairs, we may suspect because the person is not of good character. But here the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself is saying, I will take care of all your affairs. So all the acharyas say this is Krishna's mercy. This is the best gift that Krishna has given to the world. through Bhagavad Gita. So we heard this class by Vashishika Maharaj yesterday, I think. Wear the locket of surrender. That is on this verse 18.66 of Bhagavad Gita. So in the purport, Prabhupada says in the beginning that even though this son, he's so young, he was a child, but he was so powerful. In the verse it says, Ati Tejasvi. He was so powerful that he could utter a curse and it will take effect. So that was because of the administration of the king Parikshit. So it was the rule of the king Parikshit that the Brahman boy, even though he was so young, he had so much potency that he could utter a curse and it would take effect. How do we understand this? Because king is the representative of God. He's known as Naradev. Although he's a human, but he is a representative of Krishna, Naradev. When a king follows the Shastra, follows the Brahmanas, uh, then the administration that he does is according to Krishna's law. It's according to Dharma. So there is four orders of society: Brahmana, Vaishya, Kshatriya, and Shudra. If they act according to that Shastra, then they develop a potency, they develop a tejas in them. That's why Brahmanas have the potency to curse. Whatever they would say, they will come true. I'm reading right now in Srimad Bhagavatam the pastime of Jad Bharat and Maharaj Raghugana. So Jad Bharat is the third life of Maharaj Bharat when he becomes um, in the first life he's a king. He gives up everything and he performs devotional service and giving up all his material possessions, and he is almost at the stage of prema, but he falls victim to a small deer, and he gives up all his spiritual practices. Because of that attachment, he takes the second life as a deer, and he remembers his past life, so he practices again as a deer in the deer body. He goes to Pulha Ashram near Nepal, where the Gandaki river is there. He performs yogasanas there. So he gets the body of a Brahmana as Jad Bharat in the third lifetime. And this time he doesn't want to take any chance. So he's behaving like a dullard. He like a deaf and dumb person. He doesn't want to interact with the material world. Always meditating on Krishna. But to the outside world, he looks like a crazy person. He has a disheveled hair. His hair are matted. His body is dirty. His Brahman thread, he's wearing a Brahman thread. It's black by suit. Whatever is given to him, he eats, even though it is rotten, he just eats it. So he behaves like a deaf and dumb person, a crazy fellow. And once upon a time, Maharaj Raghugana was being carried in a palanquin, and they needed one more bearer for the palanquin. So they saw Jad Bharat, and Jad Bharat was very stout and strong. So these people, the servants of Maharaj Raghugana, they got him to pick the palanquin and to carry the palanquin. So because Jad Bharat was so cautious, he did not want to step on any ants on the way. So he was walking very carefully, and he was not able to keep pace with the other bearers, with other carriers of the palanquin. So because of this, Maharaj Rahugana, he was getting jolted inside the palanquin. He was not having a good ride. It was uneven ride. So Rahugana became very angry and he chastised Jad Bharat. Oh, it seems like you have a very thin body. You can't carry a palanquin. You can't keep up with other carriers, you know. So he was sarcastically insulting. He said, if you don't carry it properly, then I will punish you and then you will come to your senses. So when he said that, Jad Bharat did not mind because he was not at the bodily identification. He was not identifying with his strong body. So he did not become agitated. At the same time, he told him Atma Gyan of Atma, that whatever Jad Bharat said, whatever you told is right. I am not thin or fat because I'm not this body. So you are right. Um, and if you think you are a king and I am a servant, you may think like that, but it's not true. Today you are the king, I am your servant. Tomorrow I may become the king, you may become the servant. These are all bodily identifications. This can change anytime. So as soon as Maharaj Rahugana heard this knowledge from a so-called carrier of the palanquin, he was really afraid and he jumped out of the palanquin and he fell at the lotus feet of Jadbharat. And he begged forgiveness. And there's a very beautiful verse where Rahugana speaks. He said, I'm not afraid of the trident of Lord Shiva. I'm not afraid of the thunderbolt of Indra. I'm not afraid of fire. I'm not afraid of Yamraj. I'm not afraid of Yamraj, if the superintendent of death. But the only thing I'm fearful is the wrath of a Brahmana or offending a Vaishnava. He said, I'm only fearful of that. So you are a Brahman, you are a Vaishnava. Please excuse me for my mistake and please give me the knowledge of self-realization. So we can see how important it is, uh, important it is to take care of the Brahminical order to maintain its purity and integrity. So we can see the character of Jad Bharat. He was exhibiting all the qualities of a Brahmana. And what are the qualities of a Brahmana? From Bhagavad Gita, well known verse. Krishna says in chapter 18, text number 42. शमो दमस्तप शोचम शांतिर आर्जवम एवच ज्ञानम विज्ञानम आस्तिक्यम ब्रह्म कर्म स्वभावजम. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas were. So we see Jad Bharat was very peaceful. Even though he was asked to carry the palanquin, he did not mind. He was self-controlled. He did not retaliate. Oh, I'm a Brahmin. Why are you asking me to carry the palanquin of a Kshatriya? Kshatriya is considered to lower than Brahmana, and Kshatriya is supposed to serve Brahmanas, take guidance from Brahmanas. But on the contrary, he lifted the palanquin. Even after giving the self-realization, he was ready to again bear the palanquin because as a Brahman, as a Vaishnava, he understood this as the result of his past karma. So he did not mind it. He was thinking that this is given by Krishna so that I can get free from my past karma. So he accepted it as a reward. Tatte anukampam susamikshmano bhunjan evatma kritam vipakam. A person accepts the results of his sinful activities as a mercy of the Lord, and he keeps on serving the Lord with all gratitude and tolerance. So that is the quality of a Brahman, to be peaceful and to keep serving without expecting anything in return. That's why they are the head of the society. But here we are saying the Kali Yuga has to enter. So now the Shringi, who is not even an adult, who is not even a grown-up boy, he becomes proud of his Brahminical status. And he's going to utter a curse because of that. So this is the entrance of Kali Yuga, where Kali Yuga contaminates the highest order of the society, the Brahman order. So Brahmanas become proud. And that is completely against the qualities which are mentioned by Krishna. So Krishna doesn't say that a Brahmana is Brahmana because of birth. He says, Chatur Varnim Maya Shrishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha, that it is by qualities and it is by activities. So until now, because Shringi was following his father, he was very powerful, Ati Tejasvi. He was following the rules and regulations set by the king, by his father. Father is the first guru. So even though he was born as a Brahmin boy, not only he was born, but he was following the qualities, the activities of a Brahmin. That's why he is very powerful. But at this point, he is going beyond his pay grade. This is not expected. A disciple should act under the guidance of Guru, under the guidance of Shastra, under the guidance of sadhus, any spiritual practitioner. So even though this Shringi, he's just a boy, he did not consider to talk to his father, who is his guru at this time. He did not think about considering about Shastra. Is this valid as per the Shastra for me to become angry? And he did not consider any sadhus. He was a boy. He was just playing. It's his viharan. He was playing with inexperienced boys. He did not have association with any experienced people. So this is the entrance of Kali Yuga into the world. Kali Yuga does not enter just by the change of the surroundings around us. It enters by the change of the consciousness of people. So that's how Kali Yuga enters in a society. So that's why Prabhupada would always say that we have to maintain 4 regulative principles and 16 rounds of chanting Hare Krishna. Then Kali cannot enter. But as soon as we become lax in performing our chanting, following the 4 regulative principles, then Kali can enter in this, even in this society. Another point that I was thinking is there are many cases of boy saints in Bhagavatam. We have the story of Narad Muni, who was just a 5-year-old child, and he got association of the Bhakti Vedantas. He served them, he listened from them, he got their remnants of their prasadam, and he became so enlightened that he did not mind when his mother was bit by a serpent and she died. He was all by himself and he was a child. But because of his spiritual progress, he was able to continue his spiritual practice, even though alone. So much so that he could see Krishna in his meditation. So we see the case of Narad Muni, who is also a young boy, and we see the case of Shringi. Both are young boys. Narad Muni, he is son of a maid servant. He is not son of a Brahman, but he received the knowledge from Bhakti Vedanta. So he's active on the platform of a Brahman. And it is said about Narad Muni that he was not childish. He was not very talkative. He would actually not go and play like other kids. He was very sincere and serious. He was ready to receive knowledge. So that's the quality because of which he was blessed by the Bhakti Vedantas. On the other hand, we see Shringi, he's here playing with the inexperienced boys. Even though he's raised in a Brahminical family, he's going beyond what he's called for, what it is called for. It is uncalled for what he is doing. So that's a comparison. We also know the story of another Arbhaka, which is Prahlad Maharaj. He is also a young boy, and he's the son of the biggest demon in the universe. But because he has received knowledge from Narad Muni, that's why he is acting on the level of Mahabhagavat. Even though his father is trying to kill him, he's equipoised. He's always remembering Krishna. He's always immersed in, absorbed in the self-realization, and he's giving this knowledge to his father also. Nasadu manne. That what I consider the best of the asuras is that one should give up family life and go to the forest and engage in devotional service so that one can get free from the anxiety of cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease. So we see these 3 Arbakas in Srimad Bhagavatam. There is Shringi, who is a young boy. There is Narad Muni, who was a young boy, and there is Prahlad Maharaj. So it is not by birth, it is by how you have received knowledge and how you are practicing it. So it behooves all of us to take the instructions very seriously. Even after we are getting initiated in a particular sampradaya, we should not think that now my business is over. I'm initiated. I'm part of a bona fide Guru Sampradaya, spiritual Vaishnav Sampradaya. Now I can just continue my life and I will be free of any reactions, sinful reactions. One has to be very independently thoughtful. Prabhupada wanted us to be independently thoughtful always. So perform devotional service not as a ritual, but being very attentive, being spiritual, know the spirit behind the activity that we are doing. Otherwise, we will fall down just like Shringi. Another thing I want to mention is the potency of following your authority. So here, Shringi, even though he's a young boy, he was able to curse the biggest person, the strongest person in the entire planet, the king, the emperor. The reason why he has that such potency because he's following his authority. Um, just like when we go for book distribution, we are distributing Prabhupada books, we are distributing Bhagavad Gita because we have been blessed by Srila Prabhupada and the previous acharyas. We are able to distribute Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, who has the potency to distribute? I don't have the potency to distribute Bhagavad Gita. But because we are following the Guru Parampara seriously and sincerely, that's why we receive the potency to distribute to others. Another example is of a postal carrier, USPS. They go from one place to another, they deliver post. It is said that if you interrupt a federal postman from doing his work, it's a federal crime. So they have the authority just because they are an agent of the government. So the potency in spiritual life comes from the authority, from following the authority. I was also listening His Holiness Bhanu Swami Maharaj class on this verse, and he was mentioning that Brahmanas are the head of the society. So the corruption begins from the head in a body. So when the head is corrupted, then everything else gets corrupted eventually. So that's why Kali Yuga first chose Shringi, who's a Brahman boy, and how the corruption is happening. So Shringi is thinking himself superior than others, especially the king, Maharaj Parikshit. It is said hatred of the lower orders of life began from this Brahmana boy under the influence of Kali, and thus cultural life began to dwindle day after day. So the whole society is compared to a body. Brahmanas are compared to the head of the society. The administrators or Kshatriyas are compared to the arms. They protect the society from any harm. The belly is like the Vaishyas or the mercantile people who produce grains so that everybody can be fed nicely. They can protect the cattle, they can protect the animals. And the legs are the laborers class. So everybody has his responsibility in the society. This is called Varnashram Dharma. And when everybody is respectful of others and they are performing their duty nicely, society can advance very nicely. But on the other hand, here we can see the Brahmana is considered hatred of the lower orders of life began from this Brahmana boy. If we think that I'm a Brahmana and here's a Kshatriya, here's a Vaishya, here's a Shudra, they are lower than me. That's the entrance of Kali Yuga. We see from the story of Jad Bharat how he respected a king. We see the story of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how he heard from Ramanand Raya, who was a so-called Shudra in a government. So, Kiba Vipra, Kiba Nyasi, Shudra Kene Naya, Yei Krishna Tattva Veta, say Guru Hoya. Thank you. So, it doesn't matter whether one is a Brahmana or a sannyasi or a Shudra. Anybody who knows the science of Krishna, he can become a Guru. Another thing is that when Kali Yuga enters, then there is a result of corruption. So that Bhagavad Gita gives in chapter 16, the divine and demoniac, how we can see the corruption in the society. The symptom is chapter 16, text 7. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha jana na vidhurasura na shocham napi chacharo na satyam teshu vidyate. Those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. Srila Prabhupada's purport, in every civilized human society, there is some set of scriptural rules and regulations which is followed from the beginning, especially among the Aryans. Those who adopt the Vedic civilization and who are known as the most advanced civilized people. Those who do not follow the scriptural injunctions are supposed to be demons. Therefore, it is stated here that the demons do not know the scriptural rules, nor do they have any inclination to follow them. Most of them do not know them, and even if some of them know, they have not the tendency to follow them. They have no faith, nor are they willing to act in terms of the Vedic injunctions. The demons are not clean, either externally or internally. One should always be careful to keep his body clean by bathing, brushing teeth, shaving, changing clothes, etc. As far as internal cleanliness is concerned, one should always remember the holy names of God and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The demons neither like nor follow all these rules for external and internal cleanliness. So I will stop here for any questions or reflections. Hare Krishna, anybody would like to share online? We have a few minutes. Reflection from the discussion or questions.
Hey, Krishna Prabhu, I want to ask a question.
Yes,
So
Krishna.
you were saying the emphasis in today's class was Brahmana by qualities, but we see in the Mahabharata that Vidura was not respected as a Kshatriya, even though he was a Kshatriya. So there seems to be a reason to believe that Krishna supported Brahmana by birth as well. So can you comment on that, Prabhu?
So could you expand how Vidura was not respected? Could you expand a little bit on that?
So, for example,
On Vidura's
Karna
case,
was seen.
yeah.
Okay, for there are two examples. Like Karna was Suta Putra. He
Yeah.
was considered as son of a charioteer, so he was not allowed to participate in the Swayamvar, even though he had the qualities of a Kshatriya. And in the case of Vidura, he was considered as Dasi Putra because he was born from so-called low class mother.
Mm.
And Krishna seemed to be, or at least this happened when Krishna was there. So there seems to be the case that birth also determines, uh, or birth could be a limiting factor in one becoming a Brahmana or becoming a Kshatriya in the Varnashram system.
If I understand you right, because Vidura was born from a maid servant, so he was
Yes,
not
yes,
considered a Kshatriya. That's why he was not considered to rule.
yes,
He could
exactly.
not
Yes,
become an emperor. So
yes,
this was in the time of Dwapar Yuga. So Krishna also, you mean, at least at that time, it was in the culture that even if it is by birth, it is accepted to be to be they are accepted by birth. Their qualities are accepted by birth.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
So you are right, Prabhu, because at those times that's why the first line of this verse it says, due to Maharaj Parikshit's good government, even a boy of tender age who was playing with other inexperienced boys could become as powerful as a qualified Brahmana. This boy was known as Shringi, and he achieved good training in Brahmacharya by his father so that he could be as powerful as a Brahmana even at that age. So in those times there was this system of teaching. Srimad Bhagavatam says guru na sasya, pita na sasya. That one should not become a guru, one should not become a father unless one can relieve one from the cycle of birth and death. So just before Kali Yuga, especially, the Brahmana father would train his son in Brahmanical qualities. And that's why he was accepted as a Brahmana. But um, in this case of, uh, uh, we say the case of Vidura, my understanding is that he might not have received that training uh, as a Kshatriya. He might or might not have. But you are right. It is he was not given the root because he was son of a maid servant, even though he was the brother of Dhritarashtra. And at the same time, we know Dhritarashtra received good counsel from Vidura. So the Vidura Niti is famous.
Mhm.
Yeah, and at the same time, we also know that Krishna liked Vidura. He went to the house of Vidura. So personally, Krishna did not differentiate Vidura like a born from a maid servant. Otherwise, why would he go to the house of Vidura? But it
Mhm.
was in the structure of the society to consider all these factors, especially when you are thinking about the emperor of the world. You know, yeah, that's my understanding. Prabhu. So according to the societal structure, he was not allowed to become the emperor, but we know because of his Vidura's qualities, even the emperor Dhritarashtra would take advice from Vidura. So he knew the abilities of Vidura and he appreciated them. But there is a societal structure where he did not want to hamper it. We also know the case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where Rup Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, although they were born in a Brahmin family, but because they associated with the Muslims, with the meat eaters, they did not want to go to the Jagannath temple.
Right, 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 right.
Right. So because of the society, how society was instituted, they did not want to cause a disturbance in the society. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appreciated it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, he accepted sannyas from a Mayavad school.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't mean that he is a Mayavadi sannyasi.
No, no, that is allowed. Like even
Yeah. So
Madhavendra Puri and everybody else also accepted. Okay,
yeah.
I understand you.
So from the society point of view, it was a general trend that you will be trained as a Brahman if you're born in a Brahmin god family. So I think that's my understanding of it.
Yes, it's good. That's a fair point. Thank you, Puri.
Okay, so we'll stop here. Granth Bhagavatam ki Jai.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jai Krishna Krishna,